Hello, my loves. Today I am going to be chatting about the books that I'm reading for spooky season. Now, this video is late and I do apologize. That is because Audible had a bunch of books that I had that were included with Audible that I wanted to read, and then all of a sudden, or listen to, all of a sudden they're going to be taken off as of the 25th and 30th of this month. So I had to read those. So I'm now behind about a week into my reading plan here. But I have 4 books I wanted to chat about that I'm going to be reading, as well as some books that I've read already that you might be interested in. None of these books are like straight up scary books. I think only one of them would be possibly deemed scary, but I don't know because I haven't read it. I'm just going off of reviews. But most of them are like mystery, thriller, suspense, mystery, like I can't say that word online, but mystery, because I like a lot of like true crime stuff. So I'm just going to share a couple of the books, like I said, that I'm going to read. Have not read them yet. Just heard good things about them, or I discovered them online looking for books for spooky season. So let's dive into that. The first book I'm reading is this book. It's called Immortal Dark. So this one's like a fantasy. It features vampires and things like that. I actually started this book. All 4 of the books I'm mentioning, I actually read them via Kindle or what's it called? Google. Google, you're able to like kind of read in some books the beginning of the book, the first couple of chapters, or you could do it with Kindle or pretty much any digital ebook platform. You're able to sample the book, and that's what I typically do. Even if I'm going to buy a physical copy of the book or use Audible, I will read the sample so I could see if I'm really into the book, because I don't always like to read the like synopsis and the plots and all that stuff, the summaries online, because sometimes the summary gives me too much information. I'm the kind of reader I don't want to know too much. Just like movies, I don't really like watching trailers. And I know that's weird because you're like, how do you figure out if you want to watch the movie? I don't know. I go with it. So that's just my personality. And if I get too much information in a trailer, I could figure out the book, and it's just how my brain works. So there's that. But what caught my attention with this book, I actually was going to put it on my list for February for like Black authors, was actually this author. She's Abisha, and she wrote this book. So I was like, oh, a Black author, to read this. So it's really cool because it's knitting together like African, I guess, like folklore or like stories, and I think also mythology. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't read the whole book. I've only read the first couple of chapters, but it's interesting. So I was interested in that, and the book is really pretty, guys. Like, it's really pretty. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So I'm gonna read. This is the book I'm reading. Like literally up next. I will be continuing on today with reading it. So that one, like I said, vampires. If you're young adult, because it is a young adult book. I don't know about any of the ratings, like if it's spicy or not. I just know that I was interested because I love vampires, and I'm really interested in supporting Black and brown authors. So this was first on my list. And so I was able to get it on sale at Target. So I got that. By the way, if you guys are interested in me talking about how to get books a little bit cheaper, because I utilize all platforms. Like, I love physical books over anything, but I understand that physical books they add up. So I use a lot of different platforms. So if you're interested in learning how to like get books cheaper, or how I use sales and different ways of getting books at a more affordable rate, let me know. I can make a video on that, because I get my books. I try to get them from anywhere but Amazon. I was like, Amazon. I like Amazon, but they're like, they're taking over the world. So I try to support other places or buy them direct if I can. Definitely once I am in a better space financially. So once I'm like in my, everything's paid off, I'm good and flowing, I will pay full price for books. But as of now, I'm just not. The amount of books I read, it wouldn't be doable to be able to do that. So let me know if you guys are interested in that kind of video, and I'll definitely do that. The next book I'm going to read after that, or the plan is to read, this is the second book, is The Reappearance of Rachel Price. This is actually by Holly Jackson. And so she's the person who wrote the book, A Good Girl's Guide to Inward. Can't say it on YouTube. I just heard actually Netflix actually has a series on A Good Girl's Guide to the Inward, which I really love that book. That was one of my first books when I started reading fiction again that I read some years ago. And so definitely check that one out. That's a good one if you like suspense and mystery type books. This book, I don't know anything really about the book. And again, because I don't really read the book jackets, but it seems like it's about 18-year-old Belle, and she
Interesting.
So it's about a reappearance of somebody who went missing. This book is it's about a reappearance of somebody who went missing. I really like the cover, but I really liked Holly Jackson. So Good Girl's Guide to this book. This one looks interesting. I will do a follow-up video on this, possibly maybe review the books that I just mentioned, since I'm not giving you guys a lot of information because I have not read them. Usually I've read a book when I talk about it. But for this book, I have been waiting to get it, and I got it on sale. So that's the second book. The third book I'm going to read is...
I just had a brain fart.
Oh, the third book I want to read is Mexican Gothic. And so you may have heard of that book. I think it's old. I didn't know that. I just came across it like 2 or 3 months ago. And I was like, you know what? I want to read this book. It looks very interesting. It is by a brown author and a woman. And that is more of your like Haunted Mansion, I believe, type vibe. That's kind of the vibe I was getting from looking at reviews on it and comments on it. And some people had bad things to say, but I like to read books for myself. I don't like to just go off of what people say, because I tend to like books and movies that other people do not like. So I'm going to be reading that book. And if you have read that book or any of these books, let me know what you thought of them in the comments. Please no spoilers, because I don't like spoilers. Don't spoil books, please. Don't do that. Don't do that for me, and don't do that for other people. Please no. But reviews or honest opinions, for surely you can put that in the comments. I would love to know, love to hear your thoughts on that. So that's the third book I'm gonna read. I'll put the picture somewhere up here, somewhere up here on the screen, because I don't have it physically. I want to get the hardback copy of it. So I was waiting for it to go on sale, but if not, I'll end up just getting the paperback copy of it, because the cover is it's a really beautiful cover. That's what made me look at the book, was the cover. And then the fourth book I'm gonna read, I actually came across it recently, about 2 weeks ago, and it's called That's Not My Name. And the only reason I even looked at the book is because the title was That's Not My Name. So me and my cousin Alina had this like joke, this inside joke, because my grandma always calls me and all my cousins like by different names. And so we had this joke, and that there was a song called That's Not My Name. And so when I saw the title, like the title of the book, and I was like, oh, that's like our song we used to have and laugh about years ago. So I looked at it and I was like, oh, it's interesting. So this book, That's Not My Name, which I'll put somewhere up here, is about a girl who wakes up and she has no idea where she is. So it's like a suspense. I believe it's also like a dating, like young adult. It's a young adult type of thriller. I don't think it's a thriller. I think it's like a mystery type of book with a young adult. So it looks really interesting. I read the first, like, I think it was chapter of it. I didn't read like I normally read the whole thing. I just read like half of the sample, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm interested in this. So that book is on my list as well. So if you've read that or if you've heard of it, let me know. That's what I have on my list to read for spooky season. I'm not doing any like total horror type books, because I've learned, as someone who was a consumer of horror, who loved horror movies for my whole life, horror story, like I was just into all that stuff. I've learned that it's not good for my nervous system. It puts me in a kind of negative space, and I didn't realize it till I got older and started doing a lot of work. So I try not to consume a lot of horror type of stuff, like those type of things. I'll do true crime, because true crime is sharing somebody's story. It's also allowing me to be able to see things and to be able to help solve problems. Like if somebody is hurt or somebody's missing, I see that who this person is, and I'm able to keep my eyes open or spread awareness. So it's very different, and I choose who I'm listening to. I choose them wisely. I don't just listen to any old person talking about somebody's case of how they got unalived. I don't do that. I listen to people who have hearts, who have emotions, and who care about the victims that have been in these situations, and I learn from them. So I do want to say that, because I think I mentioned before recently that I do watch true crime, and I just wanted to clarify that it's not just all like, I don't know what they used to have on TV, like 48 hours? Different shows where they're glamorizing these serial unalivers and glamorizing different things. No, I'm interested in the psychology and all those things. So very different. So I just really watch what I consume. And with that, that's why the only book that's going to be probably more scary is the Mexican Gothic one. Yeah. And then as far as books that I've read that I would recommend to read during spooky season, you could read A Good Girl's Guide to, like I said. The second book is, oh my God, what is it called? Bad Blood. I'll put it up on the screen because I can't think of the name right now. Good Girl, Bad Blood, I believe it is. I didn't really like the third book in the series. I think I mentioned that in one of my videos when I talked about some of my favorite books from last year. There's no crazy, gore or anything like that. It's literally, I think people who are into true crime would appreciate that trilogy there. Another good mystery, suspense, thriller type book is Stone Maidens, and then the second book, Maidens of the Cave. Really good book. And if you are on TikTok, which I'm not, but if you are on TikTok, that was something that was a really big deal because of the story with that, where his daughter actually was able to help him sell, like basically become a best-selling author with this book. And he wrote this book like 10 years, I believe, before it even got big. So definitely a interesting story as far as the writer. His story, very interesting. And then also the actual story is very good. So I really liked it. I actually listened to that one on Audible. It's really good. So if you want a more dramatic adaptation of books, I definitely would say A Good Girl's Guide to is really good on Audible. The whole series is really good on Audible. Stone Maidens is really good on Audible too, like, or any audiobook. I'm sure that it's the same across all platforms. So definitely check those two. Those, I think that's 5 books out. Those were, I really like those. I can't think of any other books that I read recently that are, I don't think I have any more to recommend as far as that aren't scary, because I'm not recommending scary books for this video like that. But those are the books I would say that I really liked over the last 2 years that I would read again and that I have read more than once too. So yes. So definitely let me know if this was helpful, if you read any of these books, or if you plan to add them to your book list, or if you've read them, that would be great. I will definitely link the video when I review, after I've done reading these books, I'll link the video of reviewing the books to this video, or to the description, or at the end of the video. So stay tuned for that. With that, I will see you in the next video. With all my love, Lana.